So we have a few polls today, so just make sure to answer those as you see them come up. We also have closed captioning available if you need that. I'm going to put the stream text link into the chat here. So if you open the chat, this is something that you would click on and you can be able to access the closed captioning for this event. And I think those are most of the announcements. Deirdre, did I forget anything before we intro our speakers for today?
No, I think you got it.
All right. With the city of Houston, we have David who's going to be speaking with us today. David, do you want to introduce yourself? Let us know what you do and who you are.
Yes, hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's meeting. My name is David Lopez III. I am the Assistant Chief Floodplain Inspector for the City of Houston. Basically, I'm tasked with all inspections and investigations in the regulatory floodplain, as well as conducting substantial damage estimates after a flood event. And another task as well assigned from the floodplain managing engineer.
Thanks, David. And we also have FEMA's Brian Bartley, who will be speaking today. Brian, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brian Bartley with FEMA Region 6. Houston, City of Houston is within my area of responsibility as a floodplain management specialist with the region. And so when they asked if we were interested in participating in this training, I, of course, said I would be interested in doing that. So glad to be here. Thank you.
And today we also have Belle. Belle's with the Texas Water Development Board. Belle, do you want to say hello?
Hi everyone, I'm Belle Gonzalez with Texas Water Development Board. My name's actually misspelled. It's a Z at the end, just in case anyone emails me. But you can find all of our contact information on our website. So I guess you don't really need to remember the spelling. You can just go and check. But I'm the Southeast Texas representative for Texas Water Development Board. So I also cover the Houston area and a lot of the area around it. So I'm your point of contact with the state.
My bad. Sorry, Belle. Hopefully we got it right on the contacts page. We'll see at the end here. And then Deirdre, do we have any comments from the city of Houston before we get going today?
I don't see any as of yet. Miss Sandra, would you like to say anything, or Miss Choice?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Desautels. I am the Community Rating System Coordinator for the City of Houston. And I wanted to start off by thanking each of you for joining us on this training today. This is a very important item for the CRS program. It is very important that we have the elevation certificates correct. Every year, October the 15th, they request these elevation certificates from the City of Houston, and we have to have a 90% correct to continue in the CRS program. So I thank you so much for coming and for asking the questions you're going to ask and finding out everything you can possibly find out about elevation certificates. Thank you so much.
All right, I think, David, we're going to throw it over to you now.
Okay.
Oh, actually, we're not going to throw it over to you. My bad. We missed a poll. Sorry, Deirdre, can you put it up for us?
Yes. I was just about to say we forgot my poll question. So what city are our participants from? So you can put in the chat or you can answer in the poll.
Just a reminder, if you're looking to get the hour and a half of continuing education credit for your certified floodplain manager designation, make sure to answer all the poll questions we put up and beyond for the duration.
All right. I'm gonna go on and end the poll. so we can get started. And let's see where everyone is from. Okay. With that, we will move it on to David. You have the show.
Did it show like kind of the answers for that teardrop?
I can't see it on my end, so I was assuming it showed on yours. Did
It
it?
showed 100%.
It did show an
Yes.
answer. It
Oh.
showed my answer though.
It just says 100% answer, City of Houston. I don't know if
Oh.
that's right.
Got it. All right, moving on. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the training overview for today's session. This is why you're here, to learn why proper permitting is necessary, learn about uses for the elevation certificate, also known as an EC, walk through the sections containing the EC, see common mistakes and how to avoid them, view resources like the EC checklist, and we will take your questions and provide answers if we can. Okay, so page number 4 is, so why is proper permitting and elevation data necessary? Well, it helps to protect people and property. And the requirements of local flood ordinances and shows compliance with local, state, federal laws or executive orders. And it's a condition for the participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. Helps avoid extremely high insurance premiums and avoids issues from citizens selling their structure land in the future. So the EC purpose, the elevation certificate is provided by, it's a national flood insurance document, and it's provided by FEMA. And what it does, the EC purpose is it records information used to determine compliance with building codes and local floodplain ordinances. It's a tool for supporting letters of map change. It's a prerequisite for community rating system participation. No longer required on the National Flood Insurance side to rate flood insurance for post-firm buildings. May be used for flood insurance ratings in any flood zone. So flood zones require the elevation data on the elevation certificate. All zones within what we call a zone V. A V zone is a velocity coastal zone, and there is all zones within zone A. So the FEMA minimum floodplain standards are required in the special flood hazard areas with a 1% annual chance within the 1% annual chance of the floodplain. All zones A and V shown here in teal to the light blue color. So flood zones require an elevation certificate data. The city of Houston regulates not only the A zones, but also the shaded X, the 500-year floodplain. The city of Houston has a higher standard and regulates the 0.2% chance annual flood event, which is the 500-year, shown here in the tan color. So you can tell the difference between the teal and the tan. That's the graphic representation on the flood map. Let's see. So where can you find flood maps and flood zones? There is the FEMA Map Service Center. There's the FEMA National Flood Hazard Layer Viewer, which is the one I use. I really like that website. And then there's the Houston Map Viewer, ArcGIS. Really, you can use a variety. Use all resources available. So you could use practically all 3 of those in tandem, just to ensure that you are looking at the correct property and the also the proper flood zone. So yeah, so today, I mean, the importance of today's training is just to explain that there are new requirements. There's a new elevation certificate and instructions. It's the 2023 edition, and so make sure to use the 23 edition. And that form expires on June 30th of 2026. So the 2022 edition is no longer in use. It is an expired form. So registered design professionals, be sure to use the current form, which is the 2023 edition.
Hey, I think this starts where I'm supposed to take over for a minute. This slide is just showing us a way to open the form, which we found that seems to be a time saver. What we can do here is we can copy the URL for the form, which you see up here at the top of the image in the slide, into a you paste it into the address bar of your Adobe app, and then you click open, and it will go directly to the form and open it for you. So this might save you some time as opposed to the instructions that came with the actual form. And then step 2, you would in your PDF viewer, you would click File Open once you've pasted that, and you paste the URL into the address bar, as I had just said a second ago. So that's the whole. It's a simple 3-step process, pretty straightforward. And then there's an alternate method. In this method, what you do is you save or download the form from the FEMA site as a PDF, and then you would right-click it and use the Open With and identify your PDF viewer. And then once it's opened up, be sure to click on the Enable All Features so that the form will work properly as you try to fill it in and move about within the form. And once you're in the form, the actual fillable form part starts on page 3, and there's 7 pages that you potentially would be using to record the information that's pertinent to your project. And then for the form itself, there is a set of instructions that you can access by clicking the button in the upper left. And then once you're in the instructions and you get the information you needed, you can click a button that's in the same basic location to return to the form and continue working within the form. All right, I think we have a poll. Question is, have you read the FEMA 2023 Elevation Certificate instructions?
Oh,
Give you a minute to answer and just a few more seconds to answer here. Again, we're putting up poll questions. If you would like the CECs for this training, please make sure to answer the poll questions as they're coming up. Appreciate the honest answers here. Deirdre, what are you seeing so far?
so far, a lot of people have not read it as of yet, which is understandable. It's new. Okay, let me get ready to end the poll here. A few more seconds. All right, so out of 84% that participated, we have 59% that have not. So this is a very good introduction and or refresher for sure.
And David, do you have any comments there for, hey, if you don't want an elevation certificate returned?
I have a comment. If
Yeah,
you have read them, you can probably stand to read them again. I guarantee you didn't remember everything. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, so again, this training is not to go over the instructions. It's just to go over the criteria involved on the elevation certificates, sections A through G, and we'll go over it in detail here in a minute. But for those who have not read the instructions, I do encourage you to take time. It's a good study material. If you ever want to fall asleep at night, that'd be the perfect PDF to read.
Okay, I just realized I have slide 13 too, don't I, Rebecca? So this one is about the different sections of the elevation certificate form as you move through it. And who can complete that particular section. Section A and B, they can be completed by anyone. Section A is where you enter your property information, your address and identify the property. Section B is where you identify the firm and the community information that the property is located in. Section C and D require a licensed professional. Section C deals with the building elevations that are the readings taken from the building itself and entered into the form. A survey is needed for that section. Section D is the certification for Section C, and also where you find the place to put clarifying information that might be needed for Section C. And then sections E and F, again, can be completed by anyone. Section E, you can enter building measurements, survey not needed. So in this section, if you know how to read a measure, you can take the readings and enter them on the form. And then section F is the owner or owner's representative certification. That's where you sign that the information that you provided is accurate and true. It could be completed by the property owner themselves, or perhaps their insurance agent, or someone else that might be representing them. And then we have section G, which is my favorite section. It's where I spend a lot of time with communities on. It's where communities document their compliance with their local regulations. And it is recommended that communities do use this section. And then we have some new parts, section H and section I. These also can be completed by anyone. Section H is your first floor height, and it's interesting that it's H for height. It is insurance only, survey not needed. And then section I is the certification of the owner or representative. In this case, the representative might be the owner's insurance agent, or somebody like that. Okay, back to you.
And we did have a question come in. Again, if you guys have questions or comments, you could type those into the chat icon or the Q&A icon, and I'll get them. Deirdre will get them. We'll pass them to the instructors. Question came in, are sections H and I required for the community rating system? And we'll talk a little bit more about the community rating system later. But Brian, do you want to take that one, or Sandra or David?
With the city of Houston, we are not required to fill out H and I for the CRS program. Everything else David's going to go through is what we were required to fill out and have turned in to the reviewer to the auditor for our recertification.
Thank you.
Rebecca, if I can comment on, a lot of times an elevation certificate form is completed by a professional for a property owner, and the property owner doesn't actually do anything on the form. So that might help with understanding, the requirement or absence thereof for those sections.
All right. So section A, it's the property information. Who can fill this out on the form? A registered design professional, like a land surveyor, professional engineer, or an architect. Community officials can also fill out section A. Flood zones A, E, A 1 through 30, or VE or V 1 through 30 with a base flood elevation. And there's other reasons a community official, a property owner, an alternative representative, or an agent can also fill out section A. It's just basic information about the property.